Let's begin today with a clip from Neil Gaiman's Make Good Art speech on finding our own creative voice.
Most of us only find our own voices after we've sounded like a lot of other people. But the one thing that you have that nobody else has is you. Your voice, your mind, your story, your vision. So write and draw and build and play and dance and live as only you can. The moment that you feel that just possibly you're walking down the street naked, exposing too much of your heart and your mind and what exists on the inside, showing too much of yourself, that's the moment you may be starting to get it right.
Hey, it's Aiden. Let's talk about something of meaning. I'm on my own today, answering the question, why am I making a podcast? I think I wanted to start a podcast initially because I have too many thoughts to be contained in one medium. I love writing, I love making music, and I love having conversations about the process. And my journey has been a long, long journey, multiple decades now, of consistently pushing down my own creative voice and making excuses for why. And now that I'm on this journey of being fully committed to my own voice and to letting that out, I know that it's going to be a rocky road. I know that there is a lot that's going to come up, and I wanted to have an ongoing conversation about that because I know that I got the wrong picture about what it meant to be a creative person growing up. I had this romantic idea that, you kind of tap into this muse and inspiration strikes, and all of a sudden you're creating all this beautiful stuff and it draws everybody in, and you go on this incredible journey. I had this totally backwards idea of what it looks like. And what I've found as I've gone through is that the reality of this creative path, whether we are creating music or art or writing, or we're teaching others, or we're coaching, or we're starting a business, anything that we're trying to create, the reality of that process is messy and often mundane and painful and full of discipline and setbacks. And I'm on this journey right now, and I know I'm not the only one. And I love the idea of being able to come together every week and have a conversation about what it's like. And increasingly, what I have realized is that I cannot live any part of my life in isolation. So when I think about being creative, that means taking care of my body. It means taking care of what I listen to and what I pay attention to. It means taking care of my family and making sure everything is in order at home. So when I do get those precious hours to sit down and create the work that I want to do, I'm ready. And I'm actually prepared to meet that moment. And that's not the romantic muse visiting us from on high, inspiration striking us and giving us this fully fledged, beautiful song that everybody loves. It's much more real. It's a grind. It's a practice, as Seth Godin would say. So that's what I'm here for, and I want to talk about it every week. And sometimes it's going to be just me. Sometimes I'm going to be reflecting on questions. Sometimes I'm going to be here with my lovely wife, Mystical, and we're going to be discussing all kinds of stuff. We're going to really look at creativity, but also how that spills over into the larger world of our connection to our family, our relationships, our community. And, lastly, I'm going to be sharing my music every week. I have a YouTube channel where I am now sharing all of my original music, and I'm also creating these cover songs where I'm doing my versions of different things, and also all the kind of musical musings and wisdom and stuff that I've gathered from 25 years of teaching music at this point. I'm trying to gather all that stuff in one place and share it on YouTube to help anybody who's on that musical journey. And I'm going to share that music as well at the end of every podcast. It will often include some stories about the songs, because I believe the stories we share about how the music came to us sometimes are just as important as the music itself. So I hope you enjoy that. This podcast is brought to you by you, the listeners, via patreon.com/somethingofmeaning. Patreon's been a total game changer for creative businesses like mine, allowing me to be supported directly by my community. You can become a patron starting at $5 a month, and all levels of support receive the same patron-only benefits. You'll get access to exclusive bonus content every month, and you'll also get to submit questions that we'll answer in our listener question episodes. To become a patron, visit patreon.com/somethingofmeaning. Thanks for your support. Now back to the podcast. Back to the question of why. What can we expect every week to be talking about? I really want this podcast to be useful, but most importantly, I want it to be true. I am on this journey to become a creative person and to run a creative business, and it's not easy all the time. And I really want to share with you the tools that I find helpful, the wisdom that I find helpful, the things that are making a difference for me. But I also want to share with you the challenges and the struggles that I'm going through, because I'm really, frankly, sick of the stories we've been told about these heroic others that are perfect and polished and, out there being so amazing. I think that, now that it's 2023 and we've all gone through a pandemic together, and, the polish is starting to come off, and I think you're seeing a little more realness out there in the world, a little more authenticity, a little bit more of the unedited, uncut reality of people's lives. But, most importantly, we're all living, we're living our lives. And the reason that I'm going on this journey to have a creative business, to be in business for myself, to do this work, really comes down to that I have been called to do it for my whole life. And I ignored that call and I pushed it down because it wasn't practical. And, as I went through my 20s and into my 30s, it got harder and harder and harder to continue to live a, quote, responsible adult life and derive any satisfaction from that. This calling just keeps knocking. This voice keeps whispering to me, and the more I ignore it, the louder it gets, and the more forceful it becomes in pulling me back. And finally, I've decided to take a real shot at listening to it, because this is my life, and I want to live the life that feels right. And yes, we have bills to pay, and we gotta make ends meet, but there's other parts of us that matter. Right? There are deeper parts of ourselves that are asking to come through. And, what is that like? What is that experience? So when I say I want this to be true, that's what I mean. I want to be real with you. I want to share tools that help us do our creative work and build connection and create community. But I also want to let you know that you're not alone. If you're deciding to go on a creative journey yourself, whatever form that takes, whether you're doing it just for yourself, or you're starting a business, or it's part of your work that you do professionally, I want what I share to be helpful. But most of all, if you're out there trying to create something of meaning, trying to do your part to make the world a little brighter, a little more joyful, I want you to know that you're not alone. Hey, if you like what I do, I suggest you give the Something of Meaning newsletter a try. Every Thursday, you'll get a short email with an idea, a question, a suggestion, and a quote that help cultivate creativity, connection, and community. To get started, go to aidenyoung.com/newsletter or somethingofmeaning.com, enter your email address, and give it a try. Thanks for listening. When I was 17, I was going to this amazing school that was an alternative school based in nature. We literally went into an African-style Akamba hut that was built in the Pacific Northwest and converted to be able to withstand the weather of Western Washington. And we would start a fire in the dirt floor every single morning with a bow drill or a hand drill. The fire had never been lit with matches. And I got to spend 3-4 days a week there in that space for a couple of years with some amazing people. And we were learning about nature and we were connecting to our place, but we also spent a lot of time connecting to what really mattered to us. And I'm super grateful that I had that time, because a lot of my creative unfolding, a lot of the connection I have to my own inner creative voice these days, I can trace that back to that time I spent there in that hut. It was called Malalia Chui, the lair of the leopard, or where the leopard sleeps. And when I graduated from that school, I was given a plaque with a barn owl feather. Every one of us had the same owl feather, feather from the same owl, I should say. Each of us got one. And they gave me a plaque with a quote on it by George Eliot. And it's a longer quote, but it starts, "May every soul that touches mine, be it the slightest contact, get therefrom some good." And it really spoke to me deeply, and it still does speak to me deeply, because it helped me to realize, like, that's what my life is about. That's true for me. That's how I want to be in the world. I want to be someone that touches other people in a way that leaves them feeling better than before I arrived. There is another saying that we used to use mostly for making sure we kind of kept things clean and paid attention, but the saying is, leave it better than you found it. And I think that that's the same idea. And ultimately, that's what matters to me. I want to create music that people enjoy. I want to create writing that people enjoy. And I hope you're enjoying this podcast and enjoy listening to this. But most importantly, if it inspires you to find some piece that stretches you to be a little happier, a little more joyful, or to do a little better, try a little harder today, like, that's genuinely at the center of how I want to live my life. And I want to get to have the privilege to do work like that for a long, long time. And I'm so grateful that I get to be here and I get to be talking to you right now. And I'm so grateful to you for listening. So I think that's a good place to start. This is the beginning of a conversation about what it means to live a life that cultivates creativity and connection and community. Conversation about what it means to connect with our own inner voices, our own inner calling, and manifest that out in the world together. And I'd love to hear from all of you, too, about your thoughts. What did this episode mean to you? What is your creative journey? What brought you here, and why are you listening? You can find me on Instagram at Something of Meaning. You can shoot me an email at somethingofmeaning@gmail.com, or you can reach out on the website at somethingofmeaning.com or aidenyoung.com. And thanks so much for listening. Okay, I'd like to take a second to introduce the musical segment for this week. This is a song that I played at our wedding. It's called Swimming Deeper. And I'm going to share a story about how the song came to me, and then you'll get to hear the song itself. Hope you enjoy. Swimming Deeper, written 2016 and 2022. This is a love song and a story of catching songs on the wind. This is a song of high cliffs and blue water, of heather and green fields under an endless sky. This is a song of surrender to the depths, floating weightless in the ocean's embrace. The chorus of this song came to me all at once in 2016, through a process I like to call song catching. But essentially, sometimes the muse strikes us and the whole thing comes through at once if we let it. I knew it was a love song about someone with whom I would have an endless connection, but I had no idea who that person was, or even if they were a real person. Then when Mystical and I were falling for each other, I realized the song was about her. I shared the song with her the day we first said I love you. When we were engaged, Mystical told me she wanted me to play the song at our wedding as she walked down the aisle. So I prepared it, assuming it would be only the chorus lyrics. But a few weeks before our wedding day, as I sat down to practice, I took some time to get very still, and I asked the muse to help me find the other half of the song. Images of Cornwall and landscapes and animals came to me, and the feeling of the ocean waves, and the verse lyrics took shape in a matter of minutes. Mystical has a powerful connection to the seal and selkies, which are seals that take human form for a time. She also has a powerful connection to the badger, while I have strong connections to the fox and the hawk. This song is a story of our love and connection to each other. It tells of our connection to the land and the changing of the seasons for countless generations. Ours is a love that runs deep and has found no end in this life or lives past.
Heather blows o'er ancient stones, waves lapping on the shore. Selkie seeks through salt and blue what she's been fishing for. Among the rushes and the reeds and mist upon the moors, sleek and silent goes the fox toward what he's hunting for. And I keep swimming deeper, looking for the bottom that I haven't found. Sink with me beneath the surface, weightless, beneath the sound. Beneath the sound. Fox and badger, seal and hawk, moonlight on the Pisky Road. As always have the sun and tides together coming home. And I keep swimming deeper, looking for the bottom that I haven't found. Sink with me beneath the surface, weightless, beneath the sound. As I keep swimming deeper, and I haven't found. Won't you sink with me beneath the surface, sink beneath the sound, beneath the sound of I keep searching, I found you, I found you. Sink with me beneath the surface, weightless, beneath the sound.
This has been the Something of Meaning podcast with Aidan Young. Original music and lyrics by Aidan Young. If you'd like to learn more, you can find us at somethingofmeaning.com. Thanks for listening.